Good evening, my dear guests. Tonight, our tale drifts upon the sea, a sea that remembers love, jealousy, and betrayal. Imagine, if you will, a ship condemned to return once every 50 years, its sails bright beneath the moon, its crew long lost to time. The Lady Lovibond, a vessel born from passion, destroyed by envy, and bound to eternity by a most curious fate, it always returns in years that end with the number 8. Stay with us, as Rebecca will guide you through this tragic voyage, where a wedding celebration became a curse upon the waters of England's Goodwin Sands. I am Sebastian, your host, and this is From Beyond.
Welcome, seekers of the unexplained, to a tale whispered on the winds, a chilling maritime mystery that has haunted the shores of England for centuries. Imagine, if you will, a stretch of sea off the coast of Kent, a place both beautiful and terrifying, known ominously as the Goodwin Sands. This treacherous expanse of shifting sandbanks has claimed countless vessels, earning it the grim moniker, the graveyard of ships. But among the countless tragedies, one story stands apart, a legend woven into the very fabric of the ocean's lore. It speaks of a phantom ship, a spectral vessel that returns from the depths every 50 years, its ghostly presence marked by an eerie glow and the chilling echo of a bygone era. And always it appears in years, ending with the number 8. Is it merely a coincidence, a trick of the light, or the collective imagination of sailors and shore dwellers? Or is it something far more profound, the lingering echo of a curse, a tragic love story etched into the very fabric of time and tide? Tonight, we delve into the haunting legend of the Lady Lovibond. Our story begins in the 18th century, an era of grand voyages and burgeoning empires, but also a time steeped in superstition and ancient beliefs. For sailors, the sea was a capricious mistress, and certain omens were to be avoided at all costs. Among the most potent was the presence of women aboard a ship. It was widely believed that a woman on deck brought ill fortune, angered the sea gods, and invited disaster. Yet love, as it often does, defied convention. Enter Captain Simon Reed, a man of courage and conviction, and the proud owner of the 3-masted schooner, the Lady Lovibond, on the eve of his wedding, filled with the joyous abandon of a man deeply in love. Captain Reed made a decision that would forever intertwine his fate with the chilling legend of the Goodwin Sands. He chose to bring his new bride, Annetta, aboard the Lady Lovibond for their honeymoon voyage. It was a gesture of profound affection, a defiance of ancient maritime law, and, as fate would have it, a harbinger of doom. As the Lady Lovibond prepared to set sail, a shadow loomed over the joyous occasion, unseen by the blissful couple. Captain Reed, in his happiness, was oblivious to the simmering resentment that festered in the heart of his first mate, John Rivers. Rivers, a man who had once been Reed's trusted companion, harboured a secret, a burning, unrequited love for Annetta. He had loved her long before Captain Reed had claimed her hand, and now, seeing her radiant happiness with another, his heart was consumed by a bitter envy. The night was calm, the sea silvered by the light of a waning moon. On the deck of the Lady Lovibond, Captain Simon Reed stood beside his young bride, her laughter like music that carried over the gentle waves. They were radiant, a pair so entwined in happiness that even the harsh salt air seemed softened by their joy. But in the shadows, another figure watched. John Rivers, first mate, and once the captain's trusted companion, bore a secret that gnawed at his heart. He had loved Annetta long before Reed had claimed her hand. Her smile, now reserved for another, was the blade that cut deepest. Every glance she cast upon her husband was a torment. Every word of affection struck Rivers like a cruel echo of what could never be his. And as the crew celebrated below deck, the first mate's thoughts grew darker, festering into envy, then into rage. Seizing his chance, Rivers stepped to the helm. His hands gripped the wheel with white-knuckled fury, the wood creaking beneath the strain. His eyes burned with a madness no one else could see, a storm far more dangerous than the calm sea around them. With deliberate hands, he turned the Lady Lovibond from her safe course, steering her straight toward the Goodwin Sands, those treacherous shallows known as the graveyard of ships. Some say he whispered her name, Annetta, one final time before the vessel struck the hidden reef with a shuddering roar. The sound of splintering timbers was drowned by screams, then silence. A love story had become a curse, and John Rivers' envy had damned them all. And so, on the fateful night of February 13th, 1748, on the eve of Valentine's Day, a day meant for love and celebration, the Lady Lovibond met her tragic end. The ship, once a symbol of Captain Reed's love and ambition, became a tomb for all aboard. John Rivers, consumed by his dark obsession, had steered the vessel directly into the unforgiving embrace of the Goodwin Sands. The shuddering roar as the ship struck the hidden reef was the last sound many of them ever heard. The splintering timbers, the screams of the innocent, and then an eerie silence swallowed by the cold dark waters. A wedding voyage transformed into a watery grave, a love story twisted into a curse, all born from the venomous sting of envy. The Lady Lovibond, with her crew and her ill-fated lovers, vanished beneath the waves, leaving behind only whispers and a chilling legacy. 50 years passed, and the tragedy of the Lady Lovibond faded into the realm of local folklore, a cautionary tale told by old salts. But then, on February 13th, 1798, exactly half a century after the disaster, something extraordinary occurred. Fishermen and sailors navigating the treacherous waters near the Goodwin Sands reported an astonishing sight. A magnificent three-masted schooner, seemingly in perfect condition, sailed silently through the night. It bore an uncanny resemblance to the ill-fated Lady Lovibond. No lights flickered from its portholes, no crew could be seen on its deck, yet it moved with an ethereal grace, cutting through the waves as if still alive. Witnesses, both terrified and mesmerized, watched as the spectral ship glided through the very waters where the original vessel had met its doom, only to vanish as mysteriously as it appeared. This was the first recorded instance of the Lady Lovibond's ghostly return, solidifying the legend and introducing a peculiar detail. The ship always reappeared in years, ending with the number 8. Was it a mere coincidence, or a haunting reminder of the cyclical nature of fate, forever bound to the number of infinity and repetition? The legend of the Lady Lovibond grew with each passing half-century. In 1848, the phantom ship returned once more, its spectral form reportedly accompanied by the faint sounds of music and revelry, as if the doomed wedding party was still celebrating below deck. Sailors swore they saw figures dancing, their joy a chilling counterpoint to the ship's silent passage. The sight was so vivid that some vessels reportedly altered their course to avoid a collision with the ghostly schooner. 50 years later, in 1898, the Lady Lovibond made her appearance again. This time reports spoke of a near collision with another ship, the spectral vessel appearing suddenly out of the mist, only to vanish at the last possible moment, leaving the crew of the living ship shaken and bewildered. The consistent timing, the recurring date, and the eerie green glow that sometimes accompanied its appearance cemented the Lady Lovibond's place in maritime folklore. The 20th century brought with it advancements in technology, but not a cessation of the sightings. In 1948, Even modern Coast Guard teams and radar operators reported unexplained phenomena in the vicinity of the Goodwin Sands on February 13th. Some claim to have seen the ghostly outline. Others detected an inexplicable blip on their screens that defied logical explanation. The Lady Lovibond, it seemed, was not to be deterred by the march of progress. The cycle continued, always in years ending with an 8, always on the anniversary of its tragic demise. As 1998 approached, anticipation reached a fever pitch among enthusiasts of the paranormal and maritime historians alike. Would the Lady Lovibond make her grand return for the new millennium? The world watched, or at least those who knew the legend did, yet the accounts from that year are conflicting. Some claim that nothing was seen, that the curse had finally been broken, or perhaps that the modern world had simply become too cynical, too illuminated to perceive such ancient spectral phenomena. They argue that the legend, once vibrant, had finally faded into obscurity. However, others vehemently disagree. They whisper of hushed reports, of sightings dismissed as optical illusions or mass hysteria. They insist that the Lady Lovibond did indeed return, perhaps more subtly, more fleetingly, but present nonetheless. They suggest that the authorities, perhaps fearing panic or ridicule, chose to suppress the reports, or that the ship now chooses to reveal itself only to those truly open to its spectral presence. Was the curse finally broken, or merely hidden from modern eyes, waiting for a more receptive era to reveal itself once more? The mystery endures, leaving us to ponder the true nature of its existence. The tale of the Lady Lovibond is more than just a ghost story. It is a rich tapestry woven with themes of love, jealousy, and the inescapable grip of fate. The ship itself becomes a potent symbol, a vessel carrying not just passengers, but the volatile emotions that led to its demise. It represents the fragile line between passion and destruction, where a love story can tragically transform into a curse. And then there are the Goodwin Sands, not merely a geographical location, but a stage for eternal echoes. They are the silent witnesses to countless maritime tragedies, yet it is the Lady Lovibond that has imprinted itself most deeply upon their shifting sands, a constant reminder of a betrayal that transcends time. The sands become a metaphor for the unforgiving nature of destiny, a place where human folly is swallowed by the vast indifference of the ocean. Finally, we have the enigmatic cycle of the number 8. In many cultures, the number 8 symbolizes infinity, rebirth, and endless cycles. For the Lady Lovibond, it represents the eternal repetition of its tragedy, a loop of sorrow and spectral return. It is the unbreakable bond of a curse, a love lost, and a betrayal forever marked by the relentless turning of the calendar, always returning to the year ending in 8, always reliving that fateful February 13th. So, what is the truth behind the Lady Lovibond? Is it a mere legend, a fanciful tale spun by sailors on long, lonely nights? Or does the spectral ship truly sail the waters of the Goodwin Sands, a ghostly echo of a love story turned curse? Perhaps every 50 years, on that cold February night, the Lady Lovibond does indeed embark on her eternal voyage, invisible to most, but ever present for those whose hearts are open to the mysteries of the deep. Imagine her sailing under the pale light of a waning moon, her sails full, her ghostly crew forever bound to their fate. The laughter of Annetta, the proud stance of Captain Reed, and the burning envy of John Rivers, all frozen in time, replaying their tragic drama for eternity. The Lady Lovibond, a silent testament to passion, betrayal, and the enduring power of a story that refuses to be forgotten, forever marked by the number 8, forever sailing the seas of legend. And as the waves crash upon the Goodwin Sands, one can almost hear the faint strains of a wedding waltz, a mournful melody carried on the wind, a reminder of the ghost ship that sails on and on and on. I have told you what I know. Whether you believe it or not is entirely up to you.
Thus, the Lady Lovibond sails on, a phantom vessel adrift in eternity, born of love yet shattered by envy. Some say the sea forgets, but the Goodwin Sands do not. They remember every cry, every vow, every betrayal. And perhaps, when the year turns once more to that fateful 8, you too might glimpse her spectral sails beneath the moonlight. Until then, dear friends, remain ever watchful.